Over the course of 10 days, the ECA draws more than 600,000 visitors through these gates. That is an enormous, surging volume of foot traffic. But before a single person steps inside, the grounds have to look entirely untouched. Maintaining a space like this bears no resemblance to standard office cleaning. A massive crowd generates a staggering amount of food wrappers, spilled drinks, and biological waste in a matter of hours. And the RNA Showgrounds is particularly demanding. Spread across 64 hectares, this site hosts over 300 events every year, often flipping from agricultural competitions to food expos in a single day. There's absolutely zero margin for error. Surviving that kind of turnover requires a rigid, 3-stage operational protocol, starting with pre-event preparation. The objective here is establishing what site managers call the neutral state, a clean, completely sanitized baseline achieved before the first ticket is ever scanned. Crews physically map out anticipated foot traffic, positioning rubbish bins and sanitizer dispensers at strategic high-flow zones. They keep their own mop stations and supply carts positioned precisely to avoid blocking guest sightlines. Every handrail wiped and bin positioned is part of a preemptive defense grid designed to absorb the weight of the incoming crowd. Then the gates open. As tens of thousands of people flood in, the wear and tear begins immediately. During event maintenance is a constant race to prevent the venue from degrading to a point of no return, and the crews have to do it without disrupting the guest experience. The most critical battleground is the restrooms. For visitors, these facilities are the primary indicator of the entire venue's hygiene. To keep them functional during peak volume, crews execute relentless scheduled restroom checks every 15 to 30 minutes, rapidly emptying bins and mopping floors. Out in the concourse, teams follow strict rotation schedules. They systematically wipe down high-contact surfaces, like payment terminals, door handles, and handrails, using color-coded microfiber cloths to ensure there is zero cross-contamination. Guests respond to the visual state of their environment. When spills are neutralized in seconds and surfaces remain spotless, they tend to treat the space with more care, a behavioral loop that prevents the venue from hitting a tipping point. Beyond the general concourse, the concession stands introduce a completely different set of highly regulated risks. Every food service area operates under strict legal compliance, specifically governed by the FSANZ Food Standards Code 3.2.2, which dictates exactly how food contact surfaces must be sanitized. Small spills have to be neutralized within seconds to stop bacterial growth. In the catering kitchens, heavy alkaline degreasers are used on exhaust hoods and ducting to prevent baked-on grease from turning into a catastrophic fire hazard. But the most unpredictable threat to the showgrounds arrives between November and March, Brisbane's extreme wet season. When heavy rain hits, standard sweeping is replaced by active water squeegeeing and wet vacuums. Crews deploy absorbent mats at all entries and urgently clear debris from pavilion guttering and downpipes to maintain drainage. A venue of this size survives only because its maintenance teams can instantly adapt their rigid operational protocols to manage these biological and environmental variables. When an event ends and the lights finally come up, the true condition of the venue is exposed, and the clock immediately starts ticking for the next setup. This triggers the post-event reset. Often, 2 events run back-to-back, leaving crews with a brutal window of just 4 to 8 hours overnight to completely restore the grounds. This chart illustrates the exact mathematical equation required to hit that deadline. A 5,000-seat venue with an 8-hour turnaround requires 15 to 25 crew members. But if you increase that to 10,000 seats and shrink the window to 6 hours, you need 30 to 50 people on the floor. That massive labor force is divided into defined zones. The strategy is ruthlessly prioritized. They tackle guest-facing areas like concourses and seating first. Once the primary footprint is secure, the teams compress into the back-of-house areas for deep sanitization. Post-event restoration is a race against an unforgiving countdown, and the only way to win is by perfectly calibrating the labor deployment. Of course, manual labor alone cannot cover 64 hectares. Crews deploy industrial ride-on scrubbers to rapidly wash down massive expanses of hard flooring. Out on the concrete bleachers, technicians use 3,000 psi pressure washers, working methodically from top to bottom. They blast away mud and organic debris that would otherwise cause permanent decay. The process concludes with a formal supervisor walkthrough and a verified quality checklist. ensuring the site is ready for the final handover to the venue manager. This relentless protocol protects the underlying infrastructure. By stripping away corrosive waste and grime immediately, the team prevents millions of dollars in long-term facility decay. Professional event venue cleaning is the invisible logistical engine operating in the background. It protects public health, preserves the grounds, and guarantees that tomorrow the show can go on.